your child is struggling to become a good reader, is it all right for you to homeschool? That's what I want to talk about today. But first, I'm going to tell you about my own experience. So I have two kids, and they both struggled with school. And I homeschooled all the way from birth, because you do start schooling at birth. I mean, you start teaching them so many things. And even though it's not official school, you are always your child's first teacher. So I homeschooled from birth all the way through high school, and my children did struggle. And there were many times that people would say things to me like, people always give you their opinion about homeschooling, whether you want to know it or not. People will tell you things. And I've had quite a few different people say to me, well, it's okay for you to homeschool because you know what you're doing. Because I had a teaching degree in elementary education. And I did not say anything to them, but I knew how much struggles we were having with my daughter becoming a reader. And so I would always think, oh my goodness, you don't have any clue. I do not know what I'm doing, and I'm very worried about this. So, but I never said anything to them. I did not know what I should do about it. Even though I had a degree in elementary education, and I thought that I knew how to teach reading until we really started to struggle, and we were not becoming a reader, and I didn't know how to fix that. So that's when I realized that I didn't know how to teach reading, and I really struggled with, should I put my child in school? But I had taught in this small Christian school, and I thought to myself, you know what? I'm pretty sure that all the other teachers at the school that I taught at have the same kind of degree and the same kind, they learned the same stuff I learned. And if I don't know what to do, then what makes me think that they will know what to do? And then, of course, I thought, well, you know what? At public school, they have experts there. At public school, they have the literacy expert and the special education teacher. And so maybe I need to send my kid to public school. But I was really questioning whether or not they would really be able to help or not, just because of the fact that I had a degree in teaching, and I thought, how different is their degree in teaching? And I had a minor in special ed. So I really wasn't having a confidence that they would know what to do. And also, the older that my daughter got, the more I was afraid to bring her to the school and show them how far behind she was. It's just true. So anyway, then the more that I started to learn about what was happening in this country with teaching and with reading, with teachers knowing how to teach reading, the less confidence I had that a teacher at the local public school would know anything about how to teach reading. Believe it or not, when I started attending Reading in the Rockies, which is the International Dyslexia Association's local branch, their annual convention, I started reading more things about dyslexia. I started to learn more and more about what was happening in this country with reading and with teachers knowing how to teach reading. I learned that I'm not the only one. This is what's happening all over the country. If you're interested in learning more about this, there is a very interesting podcast that you can listen to. There's only 6 episodes, so it's about 6 hours of listening. But it's the most fascinating thing. And the podcast is called Sold a Story. It's by Emily Hanford, who is a reporter for APM Report. It is fascinating and explains what's happening with reading in this country and why so many people are struggling with reading. Well, there's many people struggling with reading, and there's so many people that do not read at grade level in this country, and that's totally unnecessary. But in my case, it wasn't just because it wasn't only because we weren't using the right teaching materials and stuff. It was because we had dyslexia. but I had no idea what to do about that. And no matter whether you have dyslexia or not, you should be taught in the proper way. Anyway, if you have a desire to homeschool and you are homeschooling and you are able to do that and you want to do that, there's no reason why you would put your kid into the public school or a private school instead of doing it yourself. Because chances are very high, it's very likely, that you will not get a teacher that knows what they're doing either. I hate to tell you that, but it's true. You can learn what to do if you are interested. If you want to do this yourself and you are interested in doing it, I have some resources for you. What I used is the Barton Reading and Spelling System, and that is excellent. It works. It's very good, and it's meant for parents to be able to teach their own kid. Susan Barton created the Barton Reading System in a way that anybody that doesn't know what they're doing can do it, because there is a video that goes along with it, and she tells you what to do at each step of the way. So, and it's very scripted, so you can do it if you are interested. Another thing that is meant for homeschool parents, another great curriculum, is Really Great Reading. I haven't used that myself, but I've heard that that's a really good program, and I want to try it out sometime. Also, the Reading League has got some parent classes that you can go to. So check out the Reading League, and there are some classes for parents. They're online, so that's a really great resource. And then if you are not interested in it and you can afford it, you can hire a tutor, and you are still homeschooling if you do that. If you are interested in doing that type of a thing, it would really take the stress off of you. And, let's say you're homeschooling more than one kid, you could, when it's time for your child that's struggling with reading to learn reading, you can set them up at the kitchen table with the computer and everything, and then you can be in the background with your other kid, focusing on that child and teaching them something while your child is getting one-on-one attention right from your kitchen table from a reading tutor. If you're interested in doing something like that, you are still homeschooling, and it can be a tremendous stress reliever for you. So if that's something that you're interested in, that's what I do. If you would like to check it and see if that would be something you're interested in, check out my website, which is defeatingdyslexiawithdarcy.com, or give me a call or a text at 970-702-5026. And every family has to make their own decision about what is best for their family. And every family needs to research the schools that are around them, and they have their own circumstances and everything. So you have to decide what is best for your own family. But if you've decided that homeschooling is best for your own family, don't let the fact that your child is struggling in the area of reading deter you from doing that. You can still do a great job of homeschooling even though you are not a literacy expert. Even though I believe that learning to read is the most important subject, I think it's so important because it's the subject where if you know how to read well, you can learn every other subject, everything else that you want to learn. But even though I think learning to read is the most important subject, when you're homeschooling, the most important thing for you is that you pass on your values and your beliefs to your children. You are homeschooling because you want them to learn what you think is important. You want them to have your world view. And so you want to be the biggest influence in their lives. And so that's the reason why you should homeschool. And that's even more important than any school subject that they could be taught, is your worldview and your beliefs about life and about eternity. So remember that and keep that goal in mind. You're preparing your child not only for this life, but for heaven as well. So you're preparing them to be a blessing here in this world and for eternity. So that is something that you can teach them best yourself, and no public school teacher or even private school teacher could as well as you do.